button is hideous. And you may have noticed it pushes everything down. It's not really in the sidebar. It just kind of looks like it is. But it's actually just right inside app, right? It's not even inside main, much less the sidebar, which is probably not where we want it. So we can move that inside the sidebar and in the process make it not so darn hideous. So right now, sign out is just right here. So it should probably be, and if we do this, we don't need this div around main anymore. All the way down in sidebar. So I will, for the moment, just put it after the new note button down here, and we're going to have to change the reference to sign out here, but we'll worry about that in a second. So we have to import it. We no longer need to import it in app. But now we do need the sign out function available down at that level. If it were just this part that we needed to do, then we could just actually do it down there, and just import auth directly. So sign out would be an action. So we'll pass that in. Sign out, colon, this dot, sign out. So in main, we need to make sure we pass that on to sidebar. So sidebar has reset current note. And now it has sign out. Props.signout in this case. And in the sidebar, we'll need to break that out of our argument list. Sign out. So then the prop that we pass here is no longer this.signout, it's just plain sign out, right? That's just effectively a local variable inside this sidebar function, because the entire component's a function. Now, position-wise, it looks terrible, but it's there, so we could test it. Click sign out, it signs us out. Click sign in, back in, sign out, we're out, and we're in. So that does work. Style-wise, it ain't great. Do we still have our static version here, and did that have a sign out button? I don't remember whether that had that. Static.html. No, the sign out button wasn't there. But it was in the original project that this was actually, that I wrote beforehand. So let's go get some CSS for that out of that project. I think in the side, how did I do that? So I had a component called user links. The idea was there would be more eventually than just sign out. So I actually had a div around this thing and then a button inside that. So let's look at the sign out component. It'll probably be easier for the sake of styling this if I just wrap a div around it, because it's what I did last time. But I will give it a class name of, I will call this SignOut. The button doesn't need its own class. And how about, instead of the word SignOut, that's going to be a little wide for that sidebar, let's put a font awesome icon. There's actually a font awesome icon called SignOut. FA-SignOut. I think that no longer needs to be a multi-liner. And we do have SignOut CSS with nothing in it, right? So let's put something in it. So on that div, which I gave a class of SignOut, I'm going to do absolute positioning. Bottom 10 pixels, that will position it 10 pixels from the bottom of this whole screen. And on the button, which doesn't have its own class, but that's okay. It's the only button inside the SignOut div. So just a button that is descended from the SignOut div. I'll give that a transparent background. And I suspect I'm going to want to adjust the size of the font awesome icon in there, but we'll see. See how this looks. We're already importing the style sheet. There it is at the bottom. Yeah, and you see that? Way down there. Little small. Little small. So I'll add another rule. Inside the SignOut class, inside the button, if I see an icon, I'm going to make the font size 2 rem, 20 pixels. Make sure text align is center in there. That may not matter, but I should probably also set the line height. See what that does for us. Could be that all our Flexbox stuff is taking care of some of that. That looks pretty good. Yeah. Was the line height necessary? I think I really just needed to change the font size. And click on that, and it does sign us out. Yay. We have a sign out button in its proper place, and it looks not so bad, and it makes everything else fit much better too. Move sign out button to sidebar and style it. Very good. So I would say, short of having routing in this thing, this is pretty close to as good as it's going to get. You can make the login page look a lot better. Instead of just this button that hugs the very top of the screen. But we can deal with that later. Questions? So we did a whole heck of a lot yesterday. I probably don't need to tell you that. We learned about Firebase, which really didn't take very long to get everything syncing with. We learned about authentication with Firebase, which again wasn't all that hard, really. There were a few more steps to it, and the whole sign-in, sign-out workflow got a little complicated. At first, signing in just meant that we hid some stuff and showed other stuff, not worrying about the fact that there was a Firebase piece coming. And sign out hid different things and showed different things. Oh, that reminds me. I don't think we did this in the morning yesterday either. I think when we sign out, we still have our notes, right? Yeah, so let's fix that.